Well, in just over 2 weeks, Thailand will hold a landmark election that follows a period of deadly civil unrest. Last year, more than 90 people were killed and around 2,000 injured in anti-government protests calling for the dissolution of parliament. Despite the obvious opposition to his government, the incumbent Prime Minister Abhisit Vejjajiva is leading his Democrat Party to the poll. While the opposition Pheu Thai Party is leading the polling, the Democrats are optimistic they will win enough votes to form a coalition. Abhisit Vejjajiva spoke with our Southeast Asia correspondent Zoe Daniel, who prepared this report.
This will be the first election that Abhisit Vejjajiva will face as incumbent Prime Minister. He and his party were installed by the Parliament in 2008 after the then ruling party was kicked out by the courts for violating electoral law. That dissolved what remained of the party of former Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra, who was ousted in a coup in 2006. It's never been accepted by Thaksin supporters, and it's dogged Abhisit Vejjajiva, who's now also blamed by many of his opponents for last year's deadly military crackdown on anti-government protesters. But he still says he can bring unity to Thailand.
Kun Abhisit, thank you for joining us. How confident are you that you can win the election?
Well, we've been up and down the country. I think when we speak to people, we've got good responses. I think they recognise what we've done over the last couple of years. But they're facing hard times, and they want to listen to us and see how we can help them through, times of high prices. And we're making some solid proposals. And I think with 19 days to go, when they see that their priorities are our priorities, they will come around and support us.
Would you accept that the community is more divided now than it was when you took office?
I don't think so. I think in many ways there was the basic division there. And the beginning of it all, of course, was former Prime Minister Thaksin, who has been a divisive and a central figure to the conflicts. But I think that the organisation of groups like the Red Shirts and with some violent tendencies have made it more difficult.
Do you accept responsibility for what happened in Bangkok in April and May last year?
Right after the events, we had a censure debate, and Parliament, in fact, has had numerous debates to bring us to account. We've had a number of independent commissions. We're making progress with the cases.
So you're saying you won't accept responsibility?
I'm saying the truth needs to be known. But I can confirm that the kind of wild allegations made against me, that I ordered a violent crackdown, killings, that doesn't just square up with the facts, as if you look at the chronology of events.
Who ordered the army in if it wasn't you?
It was clear that no losses would have taken place had there been no armed elements infused among protesters, firing bombs, grenades, bullets at the military and possibly at people as well.
So you put the blame on the Red Shirts for forcing your hand to send the military in. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that we had to uphold the law. And we were under tremendous pressure because they were causing a lot of trouble for ordinary people. But we exercised restraint, patience, tolerance. We offered real solutions like concrete dates for early elections, and every time it was rejected by them.
I don't speak Thai, but I'm told that you've never said sorry for...
I've expressed regret, and I think that I will wait for the reports, the fact-finding reports.
Why?
Why? Because...
I mean, in the spirit of reconciliation, red shirt protesters tell me that it would make a difference to them if you said sorry.
I'm not so sure about that, because I think that we should look at the facts to see who's done what before we start saying who's to blame and who needs to apologize. But I didn't want the losses to happen. You
were Prime Minister when that happened. You now have to convince people to vote you in again after presiding over that. How do you convince them that you can actually achieve change?
When the events that took place in the Middle East happened this year, there were so many people that came up to me in the streets and say, now we understand. It's not easy. And error on one side or the other could have led to much, much worse.
So if the key to progress is some sort of reconciliation, some sort of unity to get past this, how do you achieve that when you are inevitably tainted by what happened?
No, I'm saying that if the people vote for the Democrats to lead the next government, we address all people's concerns, including the red shirts. That's the way to move things forward.
Regardless of who wins the election, that could cause ructions on one or other side. The Democrats form a coalition, the red shirts will protest. Putai would say that if they win, then there'll be a coup. I mean, how do we get past this?
Well, how do we get past this?
Gridlock?
First of all, free and fair elections. Let's respect the decisions of the people on the 3rd of July. Let's respect the Constitution. That applies to everybody, the military included. And let the next government take the country forward, solve the people's problems, and not make themselves a self-serving government. That's the recipe for stability and progress in this country.
Good, Abhisit. Thank you.
Well.